I want to ask you about Rasmus Andersson. We're a couple days from the trade deadline, and I know we've talked all
Yeah.
year about, man, trade for him, you get 2 playoff runs, and I don't think it's going to happen. They then have an opportunity in the offseason to sign him to an extension or take him into the year. I mean, I guess that's a conversation for tomorrow or the day after or the summer. What have you seen
Mm.
from Anderson's game? And we've talked about it on the other show. Started the year scoring goals. He was looking in, the fans through the glass, and he was really feeling it. And it felt like
Yep.
this is going to be, not that he needs a breakout year, but this is going to be a big year for Rasmus Andersson. And then I don't know if he's trying to do too much, if he's playing, if the minutes are too much, if the pairings, because there's been guys, it's been a rotation for sure on that back end. I just wonder with Anderson, because it does seem like he's struggled the last 25, 30 games.
Yeah, to say the least. It's so what happened after like the first 10 games, you had Miramanov and Uyghur, and they were awful
Yeah,
actually for and so they kind of moved them down the rotation a little bit, and then they moved Ball and Anderson up, and they've been facing the tough minutes for a lot of the season, and it seems to be getting on top of Anderson especially.
yeah,
I looked at his numbers a little while ago, and he has great numbers when he's with Uyghur, which has happened on occasion,
yeah.
and with everyone else, he has sunk like a stone. He's not very mobile. That's always been an issue with him. And if he's tired on sort of layered on top of that,
Sure.
you might start to see him struggle the way he is now, right? So yeah, the offense hasn't been there, which is that can happen to defensemen, right? You can go through dry spells, but the defense hasn't really been there. Like tonight, that first period is a bit of a debacle, right? And
Mhm.
there's been periods of that with him, and even when he's had Ball, who's probably the best partner he's had this year, there's been layers of struggles all over the ice. So it's going to be a tough decision for the team because I know they really like him. He's a super likable guy. He seems to be popular in the room. He seems to like their organization, the city, which is a big plus. But how does he age at 30 years old plus, right? Because you're
Yeah.
not going to get him for 2 or 3 years. He's going to ask for six
6 to
plus,
8
right?
for
So
sure, yeah. It's one of
yeah,
those things that obviously fans and media people talk a lot about. To your point, it almost feels like if a deal doesn't get done and they take him into next year, and you hope it's not, but if this is kind of how it's trending, it's going to
yeah.
become a very easy decision and conversation to have that this is just not somebody you can commit 6, 7, or 8 years to if you're the Calgary Flames, I don't think, because I'm with you. The mobility, he doesn't look like a guy that's going to be all that fleet-footed as he hits into his mid-30s here.
Yeah, and it's extremely rare to have most players be highly functional past,
Yeah.
35, right? It's a very small group of guys who make it there. So, the kind of bet that you're making is you're hoping he's actually better than he has been this year, the guy he was maybe last year or the year before for 3 or 4 years, and then you have to ride out the rest of the contract basically, which
Yeah.
I don't know if the franchise should be taking that bet at this point.
There's no way he gets dealt on Friday, is there? I just can't. Like, I'll
Unless
say this,
someone,
while we talk about,
yeah,
we're not talking about him in very glowing terms, but I think we're talking about him in the macro. If you can get him for this year's playoff run and take some of
mhm.
those minutes back and have him maybe slotted correctly and
Oh
maybe
yeah,
have a better partner, he's a hell of a player. And
absolutely.
even if you eat a little bit of money, his cap hit is already very manageable. He looks to me like a guy that would be tremendous for someone in a long playoff run if they were able to get him. But
Yeah, if
I
he's a 4D and he has his partners mobile and it's a really good team, that's a player that slots in really easily on a competitive club,
yeah,
right? Do the Flames want to trade him? I don't get the sense that they do. I think someone would have to roll in with quite the offer. Like
yeah.
you can't turn this down, and maybe they consider it, but yeah,
The other part of it is too, with another couple of points tonight, they now move up to 67 in the wild card spot.
yeah,
That's two better than the Canucks and three clear of the St. Louis Blues. Blues have actually played one more game than have the Flames. Both of those teams, we'll look at them coming up in our bets, but both of those teams play tomorrow. And Vancouver is not playing great, and Quinn Hughes is injured, and
yeah.
St. Louis is kind of up and down. They go on hot spells, and then And then, and who knows what they're going to do at the deadline? They just seem to think they're in it all the time. So they're always, for right now, to make a trade that would make sense for the Flames in Rasmus Andersson, it would have to be futures draft picks, and you would be almost gutting the blue line for this year. It's already showing some, showing some holes. There's some warts there with him, with him there. So I guess we'll wait and see on that.
Happens.
I don't either.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.